My name is Grayson, Grayson Vasquez, and I would describe my current life as nomadic through hiking. I sleep outdoors, and in the day I walk. You're not even standing up to eat, are you? Just gonna sit here and eat everything within reach. I grew up in Bristol, or just outside of Bristol in a little town called Yate. My childhood was chaos, pure chaos. It's quite an unhealthy upbringing, and because of that, I was quite often living or sleeping outdoors as a child. It wasn't unusual for me to just decide to sleep in a forest to escape the chaos. And yeah, I didn't really realise at the time, but that was setting me up for being able to do this. You know, I developed skills without even realising. And this is just about ready to harvest. So these leaves, you can smoke them or you can make a tea out of them, and it clears out all your airways, and then you end up coughing up a load of crap. So my day, wake up, go to work, and go sit in an energy supplier doing customer service. I filled my day with work, like from start to finish, I guess. Very mundane, very civilized, pedestrian, 9 to 5, and then get home, cook, maybe make some music and go to bed. Right, let's go up there. On the weekend, I don't know, drink. I'm teetotal now, but I used to drink a lot on the weekends. And I guess sometimes when you do live in that civilized world, is drinking in the weekends is kind of the opiate that they've given you to vent and to kind of let go and to release steam, because it's built up for 5 8-hour days in a row. When you think of that, it's kind of odd. Spend all week getting stressed out just so that we can release that stress in a few, or in a couple of nights.
Where paradise lay. Well, I'm sorry, son, but you're too late in asking.
I love this whole jaw thing. They just stare at you with their jaw going. That photo was taken from here. So stand here. That is where my map cover photo was taken from. Right, in 23 I was made homeless. When I was served a Section 21 notice, I actually annotated it, sent it back and said, you're going to have to pay another £100 to get this updated, I'm afraid. And then listed all the remaining costs that will lead up to my eviction and said, if you give me half of it, I'll leave tomorrow. They said, what are you going to do with that money? Because obviously it will be on the streets. I said, I'm going to buy a pack and a tent and a sleeping bag, and I'm just going to walk. What do I do with this?
I was just sorry ever after 74, 75.
I love looking down to ground level. Different views get me for different reasons. Yeah, I've seen views that are heartbreaking because it's acres and acres of forest that have just been cut down. But then you've got views like this that are just majestic and incredible. You know? And how could you not want to paint something like this? Every day is finding something like this. And you just can't do that with a normal life.
I was just sorry ever after 74, 75.
I love this place. Absolutely love it. Look at these. When I was a child, at a very young age, my father attempted an insurance job and stole everything in our house. A few years later, my mother decided she was upset with the state of mine and my brother's room and put absolutely everything we owned into a skip. Tried to get rid of it. As a child, for me to cherish possessions was to be vulnerable to pain, so I learned not to. So I don't have any sentimentality towards anything. I picked up my arrow. Like I've got this arrow that I took from a range a few weeks ago. I guess that has a bit of sentimentality because I started Offas Dyke last year maybe, and it was very, very busy and all the people were getting me down a bit. A mile after that range, my pack broke. That's the Euro hike one. The strap just snapped off and I couldn't walk anymore. So I got a taxi to pick me up and take me, and I had to get transport that required no walking in between because I only had one strap and close to 30 kilos in there. So when I found that arrow in that range, basically there, where I'd given up last time, maybe I'd used the pack as an excuse to get off of the route and away from the people. This time round, I felt strong and I felt alone enough to be able to just get on with it without too much interference, and the arrow was broken. And I guess in my head there was like this little analogy that you're broke but I'm not, so I kept it. I like that arrow, and I could have left it in Bristol when I went to Bristol, but I decided to repack it and bring it with me, so it is in the pack. And it's a lot of fun as well because I enjoy throwing it at castles and making silly videos with it, but everything else is pure function. Like absolutely everything else I carry is pure function. I don't carry things for sentimental reasons, unless you count tea. Come on, Scree, get out the way. Or don't, actually, that makes it difficult, doesn't it? Sorry, it's got to be done. I have to do everything I can to balance my diet. I can't carry fruit. My bags just decimate it. Throughout my life, I've lived in lots of different ways. You know, I've had a very chaotic life. I've had 37 fixed abodes. You just get used to moving. It makes sense in 23 that I carried on moving, but I let go of the concept of buildings, so. I love it! They're just looking at me like, what the fuck is he doing? My whole life was built up to this. I miss the money of my energy career because that would make life so much simpler right now. Sometimes I miss being in one place for long enough to get to know people, like to experience a romance, that kind of thing. But that doesn't last long because I walk to somewhere like here and I'm like, well, come on, man. You see a different place like this every day. How can you complain about that? That is amazing. That is just beautiful. Not that guy's bum. My moods are the biggest problem. They lock me in places, they trap me in places. If I feel comfortable and my mood goes down, I'm stuck there wherever I am at the time. So I was terrified going back to Bristol that the depression would sink in because suddenly I'm indoors, and then I'd just be stuck there in Bristol and I wouldn't be able to get back out here. And the day before I left to come back was just awful. I was just dreading waking up and either feeling too down to leave or something else getting in the way, there being some problem that just jumped out of the woodwork and said, no, you've got to stay here now to sort this out. Like, as soon as I'm out the door, that's it, I'm free, I'm detached. There's nothing that can keep me in that town. You know, once I leave and lock the door, I'm heading for the bus, and then I'm heading for the train, and I'm traveling then. But yeah, I was terrified because a huge part of me thought that I was going to lose this, and I didn't. I have a dream to, excuse me, put my name on a piece of land, preferably a mountain. I don't know how long I have. If the doctors decide that I've been symptomatic with Huntington's for a while, then in 10 years' time I'm not going to be very well or alive. A person only really dies when the last person that remembers them does. And well, if your name is on something, then you'll be remembered. There are lots of mountains in the world that have not, in modern days, been explored. There's no paths to the summit. There's no maps to get you there. If you want to climb it, you've got to find the way. And if you do find the way, when you summit it and when you make a path, you get to name it. And if I'm doing that in 10 years, then I've done pretty well for myself. Yeah. These places are excellent.